I feel like I do. Yeah, there's definitely a level of a switch that gets flipped. For me, I call him 9. 9 comes out.
This was JJ McCarthy about 2 years ago, January 8th, 2024. Top of the world after winning a national championship before going into the NFL draft. And this is JJ McCarthy now, or should I say 9. In the span of 2 years, McCarthy has gone from a national champion at the college level to the biggest joke in the NFL. He took a loaded Vikings roster, which was considered one of the best rosters in the NFL from a talent standpoint, and has completely turned the franchise upside down. And all this is taking place just one season after Minnesota went 14-3 with Sam Darnold at quarterback. The Vikings let go of 2 quarterbacks in the offseason, and Sam Darnold and Daniel Jones, who are both now playing great football. Sam Darnold is playing excellent for the Seattle Seahawks, while Daniel Jones is playing pretty well for the Indianapolis Colts. And the Vikings also had an opportunity to sign Aaron Rodgers in the offseason, but they declined to go with that route and handed the keys to the franchise to JJ McCarthy, only for that to this point to end up in a crash and a complete disaster. JJ McCarthy is getting Jamarcus Russell and Anthony Richardson type comparisons, and those are probably the last 2 guys that you probably want to be getting compared to if you're an NFL quarterback. So what exactly happened? How did a national champion, a top 10 NFL draft pick, become the biggest joke in the NFL in under 2 years? That's what we'll be going over in today's video. Please make sure to like the video and subscribe. I'm KAJ, welcome to the KAJ Football Channel, the best place for casual football fans like you and I to discuss the latest NFL news, weekly recaps, and everything like that. And with all that being said, let's dive into the video. I hope that transition looks pretty cool. Before becoming the NFL's biggest joke, 9. I mean, JJ McCarthy spent 3 years at Michigan, starting in 28 games, throwing for 6,200 total yards, 49 touchdowns, and 11 interceptions, with a completion percentage of 67%. McCarthy also ran for 10 touchdowns and 631 yards. Not a bad resume, but the most impressive thing that he did in college, he went 27-1 as the Michigan Wolverines starting quarterback. One could say that he's a winner, a trait that not everybody has. McCarthy went 12-1 in 2022 and then 15-0 in 2023, which led to him winning a national championship. Granted, JJ McCarthy did not really have to do jack shit when it came to winning that national championship. He only threw the football 18 times, completing 10 of them for 140 yards. Meanwhile, the running game for Michigan went over 300 rushing yards. This was just a reflection of the season in general. Michigan's running game was excellent that season, and JJ McCarthy didn't really have to do much because of that run game in that Michigan defense. And I'm not blaming JJ McCarthy for having a good defense and a good running game because, well, that's what teams need to have a successful season. And it makes sense why Jim Harbaugh had the running game as the offensive identity, especially now. However, though, because of this, the exposure for JJ McCarthy was very limited. The throwing, the reps, the tape, everything was limited. And the lack of that exposure is, it's really showing up right now in Minnesota.
Arm talent, athleticism, it factor, winning with numbing repetition. Don't be surprised when he goes to, he's the #1 quarterback off the board. That's my prediction right now.
Going into the NFL draft, there was a wide variety of opinions on where JJ McCarthy should be picked. Now, Harbaugh got a little delusional there with the whole first overall pick nonsense that he was talking about, but that was his quarterback and they had just won a national championship. So, it makes sense that Harbaugh was trying to gaslight everyone into drafting him and he was hyping up his guy. But even at the time, everyone basically knew that Caleb Williams was the clear #1 overall pick, and that Heisman winning quarterback that season, quarterback Jaden Daniels, would go top 3, and that Drake May, who is now the best quarterback in the league, would probably be picked within the top 5 as well. Definitely higher than JJ McCarthy. And because his quarterback draft class was projected to be a really good one, that's what made JJ McCarthy's draft status and prediction really interesting. Some guys had him as a first round pick, other guys didn't even have him as a first round guy, some had him as a top 10, top 5. There was a variety of opinions on where JJ McCarthy should have been picked. Come the 2024 NFL Draft, what a shocker, Caleb Williams went with the first overall pick to Chicago, Jaden Daniels went second overall to the Commanders, and Drake May went third overall to the New England Patriots. And then Michael Penix was drafted 8th overall to the Atlanta Falcons, which was a complete surprise to everyone. And then the 10th overall pick came around, the Jets were on the clock, and then the Minnesota Vikings made a trade. Same Minnesota Vikings who had let Kirk Cousins leave, and he ended up signing with the Atlanta Falcons on a massive contract. Side note here real quick, I still can't believe the Falcons signed Kirk Cousins to a massive contract, drafted a quarterback with a top 10 pick, and still their quarterback situation is not resolved. Okay, end of side note. The Vikings were in clear need of a quarterback after letting Kirk Cousins leave and then signing Sam Darnold in free agency. The Vikings had the right idea. It was definitely the right year to go out and draft a quarterback, but it just so happened that the Vikings may have gotten the worst quarterback of this draft class in JJ McCarthy, passing up on Bo Nix, who has the Broncos right now 10-2 and is on pace to make the postseason for the second straight season in a row for the Denver Broncos. And of course, Sean Payton saying that he put smoke out there to make other teams draft JJ McCarthy so he could get Bo Nix obviously does not help any narratives either.
I was actively involved in trying to pretend we were moving forward. In other words,
and coincidentally, that's not the only smoke Sean Payton was putting out there. McCarthy's rookie season in 2024 lasted about one training camp and one preseason game. A preseason game where he actually looked pretty decent, having some good moments, hitting on a deep downfield touchdown pass, but also throwing a pretty bad interception. Hindsight 2020 though, the good moments were probably good because he was playing against guys who are not in the NFL anymore, and also it was the Raiders. McCarthy though would suffer a knee injury in this preseason game, which required surgery and ended his rookie season before it even began. While he was rehabbing and recovering from this knee injury, the Vikings with Sam Darnold went on a 14-3 run in the 2024 season, something nobody saw coming. The Vikings defense under Brian Flores was playing some of the best defensive football in the NFL. Sam Darnold was a changed man at quarterback and was doing a great job of finding Justin Jefferson for big plays and getting everyone involved in that offense. Kevin O'Connell appeared to be one of the best head coaches in the NFL, getting his team to 14-3, one game away from the #1 seed, and getting them to the playoffs with a quarterback that nobody wanted that offseason. I mean, the Vikings literally just signed Sam Darnold, likely to be camp competition to compete with JJ McCarthy, and he ended up taking them to the playoffs. After this season, it was clear this Vikings team was one of the best rosters in situations for any quarterback to come in and have success in. Well, maybe not any quarterback, but we'll get to that in just a moment. Fast forward to 2025, the Vikings let Sam Darnold go in free agency and sign with the Seattle Seahawks. The Vikings did give an offer to Sam Darnold, but it was not a long-term commitment that Darnold was looking for, so he ended up signing with the Seattle Seahawks on a pretty significant contract. I'm not gonna lie, I thought the Seahawks were fucking up their franchise by trading away Geno Smith and signing Sam Darnold. I didn't get it. At the moment, I thought Geno Smith was a much better quarterback than Sam Darnold. I thought they paid way too much for Sam Darnold, and that the only positives going in that direction was that he was younger and possibly cheaper than what they would have had to pay Geno Smith. And there's a whole video of me saying why this was a stupid move by the Seahawks, and oh boy was I wrong. But I'm okay with being wrong. I just make stupid YouTube videos. The Vikings decision makers and the front office and coaching staff though, they surely are not okay with letting Sam Darnold walk out of the building right now. The Seattle Seahawks are 9-3 right now with Sam Darnold at quarterback, who now has 19 touchdowns on the season and 2,900 total yards. Although he does have 10 interceptions on the season, Darnold is just doing what he's supposed to do, and that's something JJ McCarthy has been struggling to do this entire season. Under the hottest offensive coordinator in the NFL right now in Clint Kubiak, Sam Darnold has been looking awesome and has had Jackson Smith and Jigba looking like the best receiver in the NFL and on pace to break 2,000 receiving yards. Meanwhile, Justin Jefferson this season only has 2 games over 100 receiving yards, and both of those games Carson Wentz was in at quarterback for an injured JJ McCarthy. Yeah, not a great situation over there in Minnesota. Year 2 for JJ McCarthy, which is basically his rookie season, has not gone as everyone involved in that situation would have hoped. His first touchdown pass in the NFL came to a Bears defender on Monday Night Football. Although JJ McCarthy did leave a pretty impressive fourth quarter comeback versus the Bears in his first NFL start to help lead them to a victory. Pretty impressive for an NFL debut. There were stories that came out afterwards that in the huddle during that comeback he was asking if there's anywhere else they'd rather be. This had fans and players and everyone involved excited about what JJ McCarthy could be after he had 3 total touchdowns, 2 passing and 1 rushing on Monday Night Football. Everyone thought their franchise quarterback had arrived. He hadn't. There was no franchise quarterback yet. In a Week 2 Sunday Night Football game versus the Atlanta Falcons, McCarthy suffered yet another injury. This time it was an ankle injury, and he would miss the next 7 weeks. He did not come back until Week 9. 9? 9! So JJ McCarthy missed his entire rookie season and missed basically the first half of his second season. Not a great way to start off your NFL career. But when he did come back in Week 9 on a road game versus the Detroit Lions, he played pretty well. Led him to a victory over one of the more dominant teams over the past few seasons in the Detroit Lions. He had some good moments, throwing a few nice touchdowns and hit the gritty in Detroit after running in for a touchdown. And with this win, McCarthy got his second win in 3 games. And little did we know that this win over the Detroit Lions would spark the biggest joke in the NFL. 9.
JJ, we see the intensity that you carry yourself with on the field. Do you go to a different place in your mind on game day?
I feel like I do. Yeah, there's definitely a level of a switch that gets flipped. For me, I call him 9. 9 comes out.
Do you think the reporter regrets asking that question, because that sparked the biggest meme in the NFL? Since JJ McCarthy's alter ego 9 was revealed to the NFL world, the Minnesota Vikings have not won a single game. In that same time frame, McCarthy has only thrown 2 touchdowns and has thrown 6 interceptions. He has still yet to have a game with over 70% completion percentage and only has 1 game with over 160 passing yards on the season, all while throwing an interception in 6 consecutive games, which is the 3rd most to start an NFL career, putting it with a whole bunch of quarterback names that he does not want to be compared to, nor does he want to be on a list with. Every time a quarterback has a bad game now, these memes and photos get posted. Jalen Hurts has a bad game? 9. Lamar Jackson has a bad game? 9. Bo Nix has a bad game? 9. Literally any quarterback has a bad game? 9. Matthew Stafford just had his worst game of the season, had 3 turnovers, and it came right after the NFL posted a clip of him with the caption, 9. All of these quarterbacks who have bad games, they've been 9'd. Is that the right term for it? Any quarterback who gets photoshopped in that meme is 9'd. Can't say I've ever had my quarterback 9'd, by the way. Tyler Shuck, Spencer Rattler have not been involved in these memes.
So that was a lie.
Now, of course, it is still early to have any conclusions on JJ McCarthy. He is basically in his rookie season. It's an evaluation year. He basically missed the first year and a half of his NFL career. And the guy has only started, I think, to this point, 6 games. So should we have conclusions on this guy? Absolutely. 6 games is all you need to evaluate a quarterback. Just because it's an evaluation year, though, for JJ McCarthy doesn't make things better. The Vikings were considered the best roster in the NFL less than a year ago. Sam Darnold had them at 14-3 last season. They let him go. Now he has the Seahawks at 9-3. The Vikings had Daniel Jones on their practice squad last season. They let him go, had an offer for him. He goes to the Colts, and now the Colts are 8-4, and he's been pretty good over there. And when you have a great coaching staff like the Vikings do, a great roster, and you let 2 quarterbacks who are looking really good on other teams go, meanwhile you're stuck with a guy who's the biggest joke in the NFL, you have to ask yourself, where did the Vikings go wrong? The Vikings have a very good roster, maybe not a Super Bowl contending roster, but they have a window that's open to compete, and that's being wasted on a developmental year when they're supposed to be off and running and winning games. That could be very frustrating, especially for the older players on this roster and guys like Justin Jefferson. JJ McCarthy isn't just losing games and playing bad, but it's the simple things that he should be good at that he's struggling with. His accuracy is simply just off the marks, and that's why he's getting Anthony Richardson comparisons. The accuracy just sails over the heads of his wide receivers and Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison. It's also not a good look when those same receivers had a lot more success with Carson Wentz earlier in the season. And then it starts to make you wonder, If JJ McCarthy cannot have success throwing to these guys with this head coach and have that defense playing that good, is he ever going to have success in the NFL? The biggest thing preventing McCarthy from having success, like we already said, is his accuracy. You cannot be an NFL quarterback throwing 50% completion in the league. That's his biggest issue, and if that can get cleaned up, some of the other things can maybe resolve themselves. But at the same time, it's also hard to improve when you are not on the field and he continues to miss time due to injuries, which isn't his fault. I'm not blaming him for being injured, but that's also part of the evaluation. He's a guy who to this point is injury prone and cannot stay healthy. What's important over this final stretch of the NFL season is that JJ McCarthy improves and plays well enough to build upon that for next season and give something encouraging to this coaching staff and to the fan base to be excited about going into next year, to make sure that they don't need to draft a quarterback or sign a quarterback to compete with them in training camp, although that's likely the route they're going to have to go. There have been some good moments from JJ McCarthy. There have been some good throws, but it's not consistent. There have been more consistently bad moments and some really bad moments from him. But there's also been some okay and decent moments, like that fourth quarter comeback versus the Bears, like getting a win versus the Detroit Lions in Detroit first game back off of injury, almost having another comeback win versus the Bears, although it was a little too late for the offense to finally get going. But McCarthy simply just has not been able to put together a full game yet, and that's a big reason why he hasn't had success. So in these final few games, McCarthy, coming off a concussion injury, should be back. He needs to prove that he can get better each week and get some of that confidence back in 9. Thanks for making it to the end of the video. Please make sure to like and subscribe. I'm KAJ. I'll catch you next time. Have a good one. Peace.